We're recording now. So, Scott, when you're ready.
Okay, awesome. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this hot day, depending on where you are. I'm in Sacramento. It's going to be a little over 100 today. So hopefully you all stay cool. This is our 25th session, brought to you every Monday, Wednesday, Friday by Northern California SBDC, Small Business Development Centers Network. This is our CARES Live CARES Update, live Q&A, interactive. You can go to asksbdc.com, watch this being streamed, and find out a bunch of other cool information from us. Today's June 3rd, and we are all in this together. All right, so introduction. For those of you who've been on these calls, I'm sure you know who we are. We're Northern California SBDC, Small Business Development Centers. We cover the most 36 northern counties in the state. We go from the Oregon border down the coast. We cover all to Santa Cruz. We cover all 9 counties of the Bay Area. We go southeast at Stockton, then back up through Nevada and then the Oregon border. And we are supported, meaning we are funded by SBA, Small Business Administration. They may or may not jump on this call today to give us an update. We're also funded by the state of California, the Governor's Office of Economic Development, which is called GoBiz. And because of the funding, we come to you, small business owners and organizations, at no cost. We don't charge anything for our services. We provide these webinars and educational events, also mostly for free. But one-on-one advising, we never charge for that. It's 100% no cost. And it's really great advising. And for the Finance Center, so my name is Scott Rogowski. I'm the director of the Northern California SBDC Finance Center. Also have my associate director, Sunita Maharaj. She's on the call as well. And then we have Alan Montague. He's from our leadership team. And he does all of our trainings and allowed us to help run this program today. So thank you, Alan, for being here. And the Finance Center, what we do is, before COVID, we specialize in helping businesses start, access capital, grow, access capital, buy a building, sell business, something like that. All around getting access to the capital they need to start, grow, and thrive. So now during COVID, we've had to become experts on PPP and EIDL and all the other loan guarantees programs that exist that you may not know about. But now that we're kind of going into a different wave, we had pre-COVID, we have COVID, and then we have whatever you want to call it, after COVID. We have some other information that we're going to share with you today on how else we can help you. So a disclaimer. Moving really quick. All right, quick agenda. We have a disclaimer. We have a PPP. We're going to go over that a little bit. EIDL, we're going to go over that. California state disaster loans that could be available. We're going to talk to you about how we're partnering with some attorneys and how that's going. For those of you that want to join that at no cost, it's pro bono office hours. It's tomorrow from 4 to 5:30. We also have, we're going to talk to you a little bit about how we can help with other loans that you may need, whether the stage of your business that you're in. June 5th, we have a guest speaker. This call today may or may not go till 12. It may go to 11:30, depending on how many questions we have. We do have less participants by about half today on the call. We also have less than half of questions that we normally have at this time. So it may not go, but we'll see how it goes. But June 5th, that'll be a 90-minute call, webinar. We have a guest speaker. We have a HR law attorney expert, Terry Leoni. And then if SBA jumps on today, we'll do an SBA update. If not, then we'll just go into questions. All right, so quick disclaimer, things are changing all the time. This information was correct when we put the presentation together, but things are changing all the time. There is still money available for PPP, probably, between 80 and 100 billion, somewhere around there, but there is money still available for PPP. The EIDL advance is an automatic direct deposit. The advance part of the EIDL is 100% forgiven. You do not have to pay it back. It's not a grant, but it is, you don't have to pay it back. It'll automatically come into your bank account through an ACH, automatic clearinghouse. It's titled SBAD for disaster. And that'll just pop in your account one day. They're not gonna email you, call you, text you, or anything. They're just gonna throw it in your account. So if you applied for an EIDL before the web portal shut down, which I think it was like, second to third week in April, SBA will get back to you. They're about 2 months behind. So if you applied on April 1st, they're probably gonna get back to you this week. If you applied on April 15th, they're probably not gonna get back to you until June 15th. They're about 2 months behind because they received about 30 million applications nationally. It's a lot to go through. but they are going to get back to you whether you're approved or declined. They will tell you. So we do not have access to check the status on your EIDL loan, but we do have access to do other things within your application with the EIDL loan, like help you do a reconsideration or help you potentially find out, what's going on. If you were received an email, but then they went dark or whatever, we can help you with some good questions. So we're also not privy to any lenders that have been coming forward for the Main Street programs. We've heard a lot about these Main Street programs. It seems like it was written for larger businesses, not smaller businesses. So, but I'm hoping that they're going to refine those. We haven't had a lender tell us that they've done one of those loans. It's a national program. It's supposed to be money to take out PPPs and do a longer loan, but we haven't heard of anybody doing one yet. So when we do, we'll bring it to you. There's other webinars going on in our region and probably throughout the state of California on how to reopen and the best way to do that per county. We're not going to go over that today. If that's something that you would like us to do eventually, please put it in the chat or email us at loans@asksbdc.com or call us at 833-ASK-SBDC, and we'll be happy to talk to you about that. All right, so PPP, Paycheck Protection Program, it's a 1%, so it's currently a 1% loan. Oh, real quick. The other disclaimer that's not on here, but I'm gonna put it on the disclaimer so you know it's a disclaimer, is that it doesn't matter if the House votes on something or the Senate votes on something. If it's not law, if the White House has not signed it yet and it's not law, then we don't have answers for you. I wish we did. Like if PPP is going to go from 8 weeks to 24 weeks or 2 years to 5-year payback, we don't know. We'd like to wish and dream with you, but we don't know if that's going to be actually truth. So therefore, we can't answer those questions because we don't have a magic 8-ball. We also can't guide you on it because we don't know what's going to happen. So we assume, just like SBA and other people that we work with, that they are going to change something. We don't know when. We are in the 7th week of the first funding for PPP, so we're getting really dang close to experiencing what 8 weeks looks like and how to get it forgiven. But if it's not law, we don't have the answers. And if it's not law, we're not going to tell you or dream with you and try to figure it out until it's law. Just like to say that. So PPP, it's currently 1%. It's currently 2 years payback. You don't have to make a payment for the first 6 months, but interest does accrue. After that, you have 18 months of payback. Currently, we don't know what's going to change to. If you haven't applied, talked to a couple of people this morning, they haven't applied and they're worried, they're not sure how to apply. Well, just email us and we can help you apply. We'll help you get all these paperwork together. The 8 weeks starts the day you get funded or the first biweekly payroll payday after you get funded. So the best way to explain that is if you get funded today and your first payroll is Sunday, then your 8 weeks can start Sunday or it can start today. It just can't start 10 days from today. You have to be a biweekly or more frequent payroll cycle business model. And if you're not, then you don't qualify for the alternative covered period. You only qualify for the alternative covered period if you have a biweekly or you pay every week. Or what's forgiven? Quick rundown: 75 to 100% payroll costs should be 100% forgiven. We're not the forgivable decider, but the lenders are not either. It comes from the SBA and Treasury. So we don't have all the answers for that. 25% or less can be spent on rent, utilities, or interest mortgage payment, not all interest debt payments. Just if you have a building loan, you can count it. What's included in payroll costs? Well, we've been over this, but a lot of people still have a lot of questions. What can I spend it on? What should I spend it on? Spend it on salaries, wages, commissions, or tips, like for the tip industry. But it can't count anything over $100,000. Like you can't claim anything over $100,000. Include all the benefits, the medical leave, the retirement, all that stuff. Workman's comp is not included. Workman's comp is not included. That's final. State and local taxes, yes. Federal taxes, FICA, no. And then sole proprietor is $100,000 max as well. What's not included? Anything over $100,000. They make sure that's apparent. Also, if you have contractors underneath your business model, like you have W-2 employees and you have contractors, or you just have contractors, you cannot use PPP and get it forgiven if you pay for contractors. because the contractors can apply all by themselves, so they don't want them to double dip. Anything else that's not included, taxes imposed or withheld, like FICA, and then if you have an individual that works for your company but they work out of the U.S., that does not count. Like their payroll does not count. And then this section, 7001 for families first, is also not included. What's forgivable? Like I said, there's that 25-75 split. It may change. They're talking about it changing. We don't know yet, so we don't have answers for those questions. But if it is a 75-25 split, it talks about payroll costs, it talks about what you went over, it talks about mortgage interest, it talks about rent. If you don't own your building, you have rent. And then utilities. And this is where it gets a little bit more convoluted, which we also don't have the answers for you. Electricity, everybody knows what that is. Gas, we're not sure. We're assuming it's like heat or gas, or heat water or whatever. Water, transportation, we're not sure if it's freight or fuel or whatever it is. We're not sure because they haven't told us yet. Telephone or internet access. And all right, so that's like what you can spend the PPP on. This is how you can do some calculations. If you're a sole prop, you know who you are. You file a Schedule C. If you're not sure what that is, you can go to your 1040 and then go to like the third page. It'll say Schedule C. If you're a sole proprietor, you have 1099 contracts that you get paid, or you are self-employed. All those terms are synonyms for Schedule C income. To find out your loan amount, you take line 31 divided by 12 times 2.5. To find out what you're forgivable, you take line 31 divided by 52 weeks times by 8. That tells you what you're forgivable. The max amount for any individual, whether you're a sole proprietor or you have an employee, is $15,385 for payroll. That's the max for payroll. If you're a Schedule K, you know who you are. You're a partnership. You are part of a partnership, or you are the partner. You take box 14 and do similar calculations as a Schedule C, because it counts you as an individual. All right, so that's all the Triple P. The Triple P, one more thing about the Triple P is that the Triple P is, there's no personal guarantee and there's no prepayment penalty, which is great. The EIDL, there is no prepayment penalty, but there is a personal guarantee. You will have to give a personal guarantee, just like any other loans. That just kind of sort of puts your assets on hold as you have the loan. But yeah, if you have questions about that, we can explain it later. So the economic injury disaster loan, this is not the advance, this is the loan. The advance is 100% forgivable. It's $1,000 per employee, up to 10 employees. So if you, as a single owner, you qualify for $1,000. If it's you and your partner as a sole prop, then you qualify for $2,000. But if you have 7 employees, you qualify for $7,000. So that's how it works. If you have 11 employees, you qualify for $10,000 because it's $10,000 max. The EIDL loan is a 30-year loan for all entities. It's 3.75% for for-profits, 2.75% for nonprofits. There's 11 months deferral. The interest does accrue during the 11 months. You don't have to make your first payment until the first of the 12th month, and is not forgivable. This loan is not forgivable. Currently, it's only open for agricultural businesses at this time. We have no idea when it's going to open for everyone else. We have no idea when it's going to open for everyone else. I wish we did, but we don't. But it's only open for agricultural businesses at this time. And if you apply before March 29th, and you have a loan number that starts with a 2, then you can also apply. Other than that, you can't apply. You could apply, but you're going to get declined. There's SBA forms that you may need to fill out. These are them right here. We have access to these. If they are asked from you from EIDL or from SBA and you're not sure how to fill them out, we can help you with that. And they are here. All right, what can the EIDL be spent on? We get this question too. What can I spend the EIDL on? What can I spend the EIDL on? Well, you can spend a lot more than you can for Triple P because it's not forgivable. So you don't have to, nobody's going to check it and make sure you spend it on that to make it forgivable because it's not forgivable. So you spend on whatever operating expenses you have. That includes like fixed expenses, rent, payroll, accounts payable, other like interest payments, interest monthly payments, whether it be credit cards or equipment or a car loan or a house or a building. But you can't use it to pay off debt. So if you have a little car loan or a little equipment loan and you want to pay it off with your EIDL, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to take that money and pay that off. You're not supposed to use it for tax penalties. Like if you have taxes that are owed from a previous year, you're not supposed to use the EIDL for that. Or dividends or bonuses or expansion. You're not supposed to use EIDL for that. Only for the operating expenses of what it would take to run and operate your business going forward. So applications are on a first come, first served basis. We talked about when you need to reapply if you applied before a certain date. Also, the declaration date is January 31st this year. So that means you would have had to start your business or buy a business before January 31st so you could take advantage of EIDL. All right, so we went over Triple P, went over EIDL, now we're on state loan guarantees. In the state of California, we have these guarantee loans that are called state guaranteed loans. So the EIDL loan is direct money from SBA into your pocket, goes directly from SBA to your business account. It doesn't touch a lender, it goes directly from SBA to you. The other one is the Triple P actually is money from banks, from your everyday lenders, the ones you bank with, or other 7A lenders right down the street from you or online. And these, the money from PPP comes from the lenders and it's backed by SBA. If you were to somehow go out of business or not be able to pay it back, SBA would guarantee the loan and pay back the lender. And then, yeah, that's how that works. Now there's state guaranteed loans. We haven't seen a lot of these done. They're trying to rework and reconfigure the way that you apply for these loans as we speak. Hopefully they figure that out soon, so it makes it easier for individuals like yourself to apply and get qualified. But if you know you don't qualify for an EIDL and a Triple P, it's not or, it's and. Like if you're a non-US, you have a non-US ID, you do not qualify for both. If you're a 501c6, you know who you are, you do not qualify for both. If you don't have payroll, you don't qualify for PPP, but you may or may not qualify for EIDL. And if you're delinquent on any federal loans, whether it be a student loan you never paid back or another SBA joint venture that you had that you went delinquent on. So if you want to find out about these loans and you want a loan up to $50,000, like a microloan, you can go to ibank.ca.gov and find out what lenders are doing it. If you want to loan a larger loan up to $1 million, you can work with the local FDCs, financial development corporations. There's one in Oakland that covers like the Bay Area, down the coast, Santa Cruz, Stockton, that area. That's called NorCal SBDC, and you could work with Chris Horton. His email is right there. If you're in Sacramento North or Sacramento, Yolo, to the coast and then to the Nevada border and then up to Oregon, you can reach out to us at loans@asksbdc.com. We have access to the local one in Sacramento. It's called California Capital. They're the local FDC. Debbie Miramoto's CEO. She does an excellent job with her team to help place capital. So you can email us. We'll get you connected and we'll help you find that money. All right. So on Thursdays, which is tomorrow, we partner with this attorney coalition in the Bay Area, and they're very smart around payroll, EDD, PUI, PUA, and also now real estate development negotiations or real estate law to see what your rights are as a tenant or something like that. This is pro bono. Some really great questions. It's 4 to 5:30 every Thursday. Just reach out. We'll get you connected. All right. So we only specialize in PPP and EIDL because of COVID. So before COVID, we still existed as an organization. We've been around 40 years. We specialize in helping businesses start, grow, access capital, and create jobs. That's what we specialize in at SBDCs across the country. There's 1,000 of us across the country, 1,000 centers. We've been getting a lot of questions from our clients that we're working with now for PPP and EIDL and say, hey, how can you help us with other loans? Well, here you go. This is what we can help you with today and that we've done for years. We specialize in helping businesses access capital. We specialize in helping businesses get matched up with lenders. You don't know the lender landscape like we do. We can help you find lenders. We can essentially broker your deal at no cost. We can be your loan agent at no cost. We can be your CPA, your bookkeeper, whatever you need at no cost. And we can do all this for you very easily because we have a team that can do it. We can do it for you locally in your local center, or we can do it at the finance center. So we can help out with startup financing. There are lenders doing startup financing today. You can get a startup loan or a reinvent your business model loan. You can do that today and we can help you, no cost. We make it super simple. You don't even have to think. You can just run your business. We'll do it for you, with you. If you're expanding right now, for whatever reason, you have an industry that's expanding, we can get you an expansion loan. There's tons of lenders out there doing expansion loans. And we're not just gonna take your information and then just go tell you to talk to a lender. We're gonna hold your hand and walk through this with you because we know it's tough and we know it's scary and we know how to talk to lenders. So we're going to do this with you at no cost. We can help you consolidate business debt, not personal debt, business debt. We're a business organization. We can help you buy equipment, refinance equipment, sell your equipment, whatever you need. Working capital needs is like the most needed thing out there. Working capital means people, like hire people, advertising, pay for marketing, pay for an e-commerce digital platform, pay for a digital marketing strategist. Whatever you need to pay for, we can help you get the money for it. If you're looking to sell or transition your business out, we have experts that specialize in succession planning, and then we can match you up with somebody that helps you, wants to buy your business. If you're looking, you don't want to deal with a business broker, we could be that person for you at no cost. We do all this for you at no cost, and we specialize in it, and we're excellent at it, and we have the skill set and the advisors that can help you with it. So please reach out. All right, June 5th, Friday. We've been trying to interject experts here and there, trying to figure out what you want, what you need as a business owner. Some of you have talked to us, some of you have not. Seems like it might be a secret what you want, what you need, but we're trying to figure out. So we brought e-commerce to you, probably did that a little bit soon. We brought you HR a couple times. Now we're gonna bring you an attorney in the HR world. And we have Terry Leoni. Her bio is here. You guys get access to this. I'm not gonna read it. Talks to you about her presentation, what she's gonna cover, healthy and safety concerns, employee benefits, updating policies, procedures, the failure of employees to return to work and what that's all about and what the letter is that you have to write or, keep track of. So she's one of our new advisors. Really excited to have her on the team. And she's going to cover lots of great stuff. So that's June 5th. It's Friday. All right. SBA support. So guess what? All these loans I talked about right here, the startup, the reinvent your business, expansion, buying, selling, buying equipment, buying a building, whatever you want to do. These are mostly SBA loans. And guess what? SBA is your friend, and they are going to pay your payments for the first 6 months, principal and interest, first 6 months. They will pay your principal and interest for any one of those loans I just mentioned. If you are one of those people, if you're not, then PPP and EIDL is best for you. It will also help you get those loans, and we'll tell you how to spend it. If you want to contact SBA, you can call this number, you can email them, put your loan number in the subject line, and they will help you. All right, so we're gonna get to Q&A, but this is our final slide. It just gives you our information. You can call this number and get a hold of somebody live today, right away. You don't have to wait. You can email us too at loans@asksbdc.com, but we are faster on the phones than we are on email, but we will get back to you same day in email as well. But I recommend that you call us at 833-ASK-SBDC. You can call us for PPP, EIDL, state loan guarantee, or any of those other loans that I mentioned that you may need help with. Also, we have a really good team that speaks Spanish, and they teach all this in Spanish, in language. They help you with your loans in the language. They help you anything that you need. Anything that I said here today, whether it be expansion, starting, buying, growing, whatever, EIDL, PPP, they can help you as well in Spanish. And you can email them at espanol@asksbdc.com. We work with the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce in Sacramento. The CEO, Julian Canetti, is an awesome partner of ours, and Oscar Garcia, who runs the SBDC program there, does an excellent job with this team. So they're available to you as well at no cost. Awesome. So now we're going to go to, we don't have SBA on the call, so we're going to go into Q&A. All right. So behind the scenes, Sunita has answered 26 already, and we have 40 left. And depending on when the call ends, we normally would have an hour. So we'll figure out what we can do. We'll go from here. All right.
So some of the things you were talking about, like lease negotiation, there is actually a full-on webinar on that tomorrow at 10 a.m. And I put the details.
You put that in the chat?
Yep, it's in the chat.
Right.
And Alan is also placing the slides in the chat. A lot of people were asking if they could get copies, and yes, if you go to the chat, you can download it from there.
I'll put it back in there again.
Awesome.
Thank you, Alan.
Cool. All right, let's go. So I actually thought the EIDL was forgiven if it was under 10,000. So is the first 1,000 that is forgiven, and then you pay for forever the additional. Okay, so there's two parts of the EIDL loan. There's the advance, then there's the loan. So if you receive the advance, just spend it and do whatever you want with it. If you receive the loan after the advance, it's separate from the advance. So it's not that the first 1,000 is forgivable. The gentleman that's asking this question, Chris, it's if you're a sole proprietor, then yeah, you receive 1,000. That's the advance. You keep that. You do what you want with it. If you received a $9,000 loan at the end or whatever you received, that you have to pay back, use and pay back in 30 years, or use and just give back, whatever you want to do. But it's not the first 1,000 is forgivable. It's just they're two separate things. We have a full-time employee earning $1,000 a week prior to February 15th. She is currently on maternity leave and not able to come back to work. Our FTE prior was 25. Do we really need to get to 24 FTE by the end of the 8-week period? Do we get a cash credit forgiven for the amount we would have paid for her or not? So you don't have to get back to full-time FTE count before 8 weeks. The date is June 30th. The current date is June 30th. Whatever you were before February 15th, if you're at 25, then you need to get back to 25 or do your best to get back at 25 and document that. Our HR law expert, Terry, will talk about that on Friday, like what you have to document to show that you try to get somebody back. But if somebody's on maternity leave, obviously you can get a doctor's note or do what you got to do. You just have to do your best to get back to 25. If you don't make it, it's okay. There's a safe harbor that you tried to, but it's not 8 weeks. It's June 30th. That's the date. Can owner payroll be forgiven? From what we know, yes. How to document it, we don't know yet. But yes, from what we know, owner payroll can be forgiven. That has never changed. What is the latest on the double payment fiasco? I don't know what a double payment fiasco is. Do you, Sunita?
I think that some people were getting approved for PPP by 2 places just because of the way the system was.
Yeah.
You can only receive one loan. So you can accept the loan from either place, but you can't accept it for both because that money will be owed back. They will eventually catch up with you. So if you did receive 2 approvals, 2 loan documents, you can choose which entity or lender you'd like to work with moving forward, but you can't have both.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Welcome.
What effect does the modification from 75-25 to 60-40 from 8 to 24 weeks have on a PPP that was received on April 16th? That is a fantastic question. We don't know that answer yet. Hopefully we will soon, but we don't know. I apologize. Once I get my EIDL loan, what is the payment schedule? Well, it's a 30-year, so it'll be monthly. You have to pay monthly, but you don't have to make a payment until the first 11 months. I know the first payment isn't due for the 12th month, but someone told me that you are only paying interest for the 30 years and then there's a lump sum payment at the end. No, I think that's wrong information, Mark. That doesn't even make any sense. I'm pretty sure you pay principal and interest every month. We are an S Corp, get some funds in May 5th, got some funds May 5th under PPP to run payroll. To qualify for forgiveness, is it 8 weeks or heard from a friend that it is extended? Well, your friend is wrong, but it's not extended yet because it's not law yet. So it starts May 5th for you unless you, I don't know what day May 5th was. Let's see. May 5th was a Tuesday. So if May 5th was a Tuesday and you started payroll that day, you can start that day for 8 weeks, or you can start the Sunday after that day, depending on how you pay. But it's not extended this time. I'm still a bit confused about how I, as an independent contractor, sole proprietor, can use EIDL appropriately. Since I don't have a brick and mortar business, I do not have a business lease rent. I'm a freelance makeup artist. Basically, all my expenses, credit card bills, fuel and auto, cost rent, business, meals, etc. Day-to-day activities are business expenses. So you can use EIDL for business expenses. Exactly what you just all mentioned there. That's operating capital, like operating expenses. So when I make a payment on my credit cards, it is from an expense incurred prior to COVID-19 and related to my business. That's fine because it says that you can make interest debt payments regardless if it was previous COVID. It's a little bit different. If you bought a piece of equipment before COVID and you try to pay it off with EIDL, you can't do that, but you can make interest debt payments as you normally do. When will I have to show the SBA how I use my expenses? Well, technically you don't have to. At this time, we're being told that you don't have to show how you spent the money with EIDL. I would still document it, but we don't know if it's yearly. If you want to track it yearly, I recommend that would be good. I mean, monthly might be a little crazy, but, or at the end of the loan. See, we don't know these answers, but I'm trying to answer all your questions in your really long question that you have here. I'm planning on using my EIDL loan to help me pay my expenses until I can start working. And that would be ideal. And that's what it's used for, is operating capital. Like regardless if you're open or not, it's used for operating capital. We are in the middle of receiving an SBA loan for business acquisition. What impact will accepting the EIDL loan have on the current acquisition loan? That's a great question. When you sell a business, you either sell all the assets and the liabilities at the same time, or you pay off the liabilities before you sell it. So an EIDL loan is a liability. It's a loan. It's a debt. It'll show up on the balance sheet. I'm assuming you're not going to pay it off before you sell, but you might. If you don't, then it'll just stay on the balance sheet, and that person taking over your business will have to transfer it. Is that true, Jania? Is that how it works?
Yes, they have to qualify for it. So they have to qualify to assume the loan.
Okay.
I've got a good one here that keeps going. Somebody, sole prop, no employees, can I give myself a 25% raise with the PPP? You mentioned that earlier, but there was a change. So just to let everybody know, you're capped out at $100,000. So that means a sole prop and an employee, anybody. So you're capped out at that total amount. So the 15,358, I believe is 658. We can go back to that slide. The other thing is, if you are Schedule C, that line 31, you can't take more than what you receive there. So divide that by 52 times 8, that is your maximum amount. You can't give yourself a raise. The raises are really, we're talking about employees, your employees, not the business owner, but the employees, to help spend down that money.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Damn it. Sorry. Didn't mean to do that. Can you still see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
Although giving me a.
Yeah. All right, cool. If you receive the PPP and EIDL both and subtract the EIDL amount from the PPP amount to get the total forgiveness, does 25% other, okay, well, really quick, you don't subtract the EIDL amount loan from the PPP amount loan. You subtract the EIDL advance from the total PPP loan amount, and then that would be your total forgivable amount at 100%. So you don't take the EIDL loan subtracted from PPP, you take the EIDL advance subtracted from PPP. And the next question says, does 25% other expenses apply to the new forgivable amount or the original amount? Well, it applies to the new forgivable amount if you have an EIDL advance. For example, if you receive $100,000 in PPP and $10,000 in EIDL, would the max 25% be 25? It'd actually be the 22.5, actually. It'd be 25% of the new amount in your example, but it's not the loan, it's the advance. If you accepted a lower amount for your EIDL loan that was offered to you and decide you actually want more of what you accepted, can you reapply? So you can reapply, just at this time you can't reapply, but we're told you can, or you can renegotiate it later, but we recommend that you take it regardless of the amount. But if you don't think it's gonna help you, then that's up to you. We don't know the process and how to reapply. Before EIDL shut down, we had somebody that applied and then they reapplied and they got more, but that was like, before, they had 30 million applications. Is garbage service considered a utility? We don't know, actually, if that's considered at this time.
At this point in time, it is not per the application.
Okay, this is a good question. So SBDC is not the same as SBA, and how are you different? Okay, so SBA is federal program, it's the Department of the Federal Government. And they are a funder. They're our funder. So we're a nonprofit, quasi-government, for-profit organization, depending on who our host is. And in Northern California, our host is Humboldt State University. So they are the subrecipient. They're the awardee from SBA. The money comes from SBA, from DC, goes to Humboldt State. And then they filtered out to advisors like me and Sunita and other hosts that we have. So like economic development corporations, chambers, cities, counties, other colleges host us in different communities. So we're essentially the consulting arm of SBA. We are the boots on the ground for SBA. We are the consulting arm of SBA. They have other technical assistance providers underneath them besides us. They have SCORE, SCORE. They have Women's Business Center, and they also have the Veteran Business Outreach Centers. So we are the consulting arm of SBA. They're our funder. They pay us so that we can talk to you at no cost.
They're not our only funder, are they, Scott? We also have.
Yeah, it depends on the state, but in the state of California, we also get funded by the Governor's Office of Economic Development because we're also the consulting arm of GoBiz under a program called Technical Assistance Expansion Program, also known as TAPE. But yeah, we're funded both. Some states are not funded by both the state and the feds. Is there a venture-backed company who have received EIDL? It's a great question. I don't know. There's millions of EIDL loans that have been done. That's a great question. You should probably email us and we can chat with you about it if you like. Is your best advice to still wait and see if the Senate passes the new extension for business that can't open yet? I don't really know what you're asking. The question doesn't really make any sense to me.
I would guess that's around PPP.
Probably, but it says if Senate passes the new extension for the businesses that can't open yet. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. It is probably around PPP. It's not EIDL, but the question, Dana, doesn't make sense. If you want to resubmit it, that'd be cool. I could reread it. We're having a hard time determining the amount to be forgiven in the scenario where we do not bring back the entire team. Our lack of work does not warrant it. We want to forecast spending to meet 25% utilities, 75% payroll, while also meeting the forgivable amount with the team we do have. Is there a way to calculate this? Well, not really. Like the only thing that's really set in stone is whatever FTE you had before February 15th, you need to try to get to that by June 30th, regardless if you pay them to sit at home. Unfortunately,
yeah, I think, Scott, that's the point that comes back to the previous question as well, which is the purpose of the PPP was to pull people off unemployment, even if that means paying them to stay home because your business can't open. So if you're a gym or a restaurant or whatever that couldn't open yet, you still should be paying people as soon as you get funded out of your PPP funds, even if it is to stay at home to pull them off unemployment. That's true, isn't it?
That is true. I think you're learning a little bit when you're on these calls, Alan.
I learned too much.
I'm happy for you, man. Yeah. Look at that, man. You don't even need us anymore.
Oh boy, yeah, I do.
So if I were to gamify how many questions we answered and how many more we got, we've answered 52 and we have 41 left. So I think we're going to probably go the distance on this one, probably going to 12. Says, what is the latest on new EIDL grants? I don't know what you mean by that. I mean, there is no new EIDL grants unless you're an agricultural business or you applied before and have a number 2. But I don't know what you mean by that, Jim Culp. If you haven't applied for EIDL, then you can't apply now unless you're an ag business. So, yeah, there's no updates on it unless you want to know how much has been funded for EIDL advance, and I can get that to you later. Yeah, my PPP was funded April 20th. My pay date is May 1st for April 16th to 30th. Can I prorate this period to use the forgiveness application, or is my payroll expense on May 16th, pay period May 1st to May? All right. There's a lot of cool questions here. Let's see. If I look at my calendar, April 20th was on a Monday and May 1st is on a Friday, but you skip a week. So the answer is no. Your 8-week period starts on April 20th. It does not start on May 1st. Can a temporary employee hired through an agency be counted as payroll for PPP? Do you know that answer, Sunita? Can a temporary employee?
They're not considered an employee. That's just an expense. So unless they are hired by you as an employee, they're not considered an employee because it's the temp agency's employee, not yours.
Okay. Somebody's saying we did not get through EIDL loan. Can we apply for other loans? The answer is yes. Or can we apply for these if EIDL is denied? We did not get enough. Oh, you did not get enough idle loan. Okay, interesting. I would say that you should email us at loans@sbdc.com or call us at 833 SBDC. All right, so Jayashri, I would just call and email us. If my 8-week window is closed before PPP extension is made into law and I have funds remaining when the extension is law, can I have the remaining funds forgiven? I mean, that's a really good question. I don't think you can, but you can email us if you want to talk about it more. I don't know. That's a good question. I can't predict the future. I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm assuming that the law change that we're all talking about that we think is going to become law, or we don't know. It's either going to happen this week or next week. I was hoping that it would have had already happened, but hopefully maybe by Friday, maybe by Saturday. I don't know, because we're getting really close to 8 weeks. You're right, but we don't know. What about accepting UI money and a PPP? Also as a sole proprietor, I can receive UI. You can receive both. Yes, you can receive unemployment and PPP. You just can't use them at the same time. So if you got approved for UI today and PPP like next week, you can use UI for this week and then do PPP, or just don't get PPP and just use UI. Zoom is buggy today. I meant that sole props can't use 100% of PPP funds for payroll because of the limit of 8 weeks of salary, which is less than the 2.5 months. So that's true. If your payroll costs and your utilities, is calculated for 1 month times 2.5, and that's your total loan amount. And the only part of the forgivability is the 8 weeks. So yes, technically you cannot get the full amount forgiven because there's that half month left, but you can get the full weeks 100% forgiven. Do 1099 contractors qualify as payroll? They don't qualify as payroll. They get to apply all by themselves, so don't pay them. I mean, don't pay them with idle. Don't pay them with PPP money, because if you do, it's not gonna be forgiven. What do you mean non-US ID for not qualified EIDL? Well, we all know what a US ID is, whether it be a driver's license or a passport. If you do not have one of those, we have some other ID, then you may qualify for the state loan guarantee program. Can I also get PPP for myself by not being an employee and business owner? No, I don't think you can. That doesn't make any sense, Joshua. Why would you get approved for PPP for yourself as an individual? No, you can't. Who can we call for idle? No one answers any phone calls. Well, you can call that 800 number that we showed you, which is right here. Call that number, or you can call us, because we're cool like that. We'll talk to you. What is the process to report how I spent the PPP to get it forgiven? Well, there's an 11-page document, Poppy, if you want to read it, or you can call or email us. It is a little bit of a treacherous process to get through that because they're asking for so much, but there is an 11-page document that talks about it, and you can read it, or we can read it to you if you want. Where'd that? Did you answer that? It disappeared. Somebody says, please send the link for the presentation. We did that. Does owner's draw qualify as payroll? Owner is not W-2. It does qualify for payroll. We just don't know how to document it quite yet.
I was going to put in, I was about to answer that as well. To reach out to us, because we need to give you more information in regards to that. It's not an easy yes or no or maybe answer. So please give us a call so we can hook you up with an advisor to walk you through that.
Okay. All right, so idle. My client had received a notice that he had qualified to receive a specific amount. While logging in to send them more info, he seems to have made a mistake merely on the login process. He was then declined prior to submitting any of the requested info. I have reached out to Julie and CC'd him, but haven't gotten a reply. Is there any way? Yeah, so Manny, you can email, actually, I'll give you, don't tell anybody, but I'll give you my personal email. And you can email me and we can escalate it. We can escalate some stuff because we have access. We'll do our best, but yeah. I received an EIDL loan for $100,000. The full long-term loan happened very quickly once they opened a portal for me, had directly deposited into my checking account 1 week. Very nice. Signed online, DocuSign. Question, do you know if they will be sending documents in the next few months? It's a good question, actually. I don't know. I can have you email us. They should be sending your documents. I don't know how fast they send them after you sign, but congratulations on getting your money. Can PPP funds be used to refund clients for canceled services forced due to, I think the answer is no. There's no way you can do that for PPP. Can you offer a meeting to roundtable for events companies? Can you offer a meeting to roundtable for event companies? Like those that work in the designation.
I think that was a response to the what could we do for what type of webinars might we have? So I'll.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we've answered 78. We have 30 more. How do we pay back the EIDL? Well, you make a payment. I don't know what that means, how you pay back the EIDL. So the EIDL money comes from SBA. So you just write SBA a check. I'm sure they're going to tell you where to write a check to. And that's how you can pay it all back if you want, or you pay your monthly payments. No, if they do that. Somebody, one of the advisors asked if somebody is a non-citizen, can they apply? And I don't really know, because like there's non-citizens that qualify for some SBA 7A loans. So I'm not ignoring you, Joe Radola, but just go ahead and email me and we'll try to figure that out. Is there a finalized PPP forgiveness application available? Well, there is, but we don't know if it's going to change. If you haven't received it, maybe Alan or Suniti can put
I can put the app in the chat, and then Joe, just to FYI, sorry, have them apply and let
well, when it
let the lender make the call on that.
Oh yeah.
SBA is always saying, let them make the call because sometimes things are changing quite fast. So that, it's not going to be a detriment to them to apply.
Cool. Hey, somebody asked, I answered it through a personal email, a personal explanation, but they asked if they're a sole proprietor or independent contractor, if SBDC can help them to either get through COVID or with their business. Yes, we don't discriminate on entity types, except for nonprofits. We don't really work with nonprofits. There's a women's business center that does that and other organizations. But outside of that, we don't discriminate on your entity type. You could be a sole prop, independent contractor, you're starting, you could be a student, you could be whomever, just not a nonprofit. Under what circumstances is the EIDL advance forgiven? It's 100% forgiven, the EIDL advance. It is confusing when it is said that it is forgiven, but it is taken out of the PPP loan forgiveness. That's true. It is very confusing. I agree. So if you receive an EIDL advance and you receive a PPP loan and you take both, the EIDL advance amount gets deducted from the total PPP amount. So technically, depending on how you look at it, it could be that EIDL advance turns into a loan, or it could be that it's just in your bank account and they just minus your total forgivability from your PPP loan. However you want to look at it, it's up to you, but it doesn't really become a loan. It goes in your checking account. So you get to use it for whatever you want to use it for. But the total forgivable with triple P is, if it's 10,000 in that example, that 10,000 becomes an automatic 1% loan inside the triple P, not inside the EIDL. So that's what's tricky about it. For sole prop, can we pay estimated taxes or fund SEP retirement plans? I don't think you could pay estimated taxes, but you can definitely do SEP retirement plan contributions, and it will be forgiven, but not estimated taxes. If I loaned my business my personal funds during the COVID-19, can I use the loan to pay me back the money I loaned to my business for EIDL? Well, I mean, you could. You're not supposed to pay the debt off. You can make the monthly payments on it, but you're not supposed to just pay it off. So you kind of can, I guess. Since you're unsure that the change from 75 to 25 to 40 to 60 will affect, who does know? Okay, Susan, the only people that know is probably God, because it's not law yet. So we don't know. There's no resource to find out. You can call Washington, D.C. and ask them if you like, but nobody knows, Susan. It's not like we're hiding it from you. We have a small business sole proprietor. I have applied PPP through B of A 3 months ago. We applied for $54,000, only got $21,000. B of A told me they are filing with SBA for additional funding about a month ago, but we have not heard anything from them. What can we do? Well, it's up to you. What I would do, it's up to you. There's no guarantee that if you take away your application with B of A, that you're going to get approved for another lender. But if you want to gamble it, you totally could. You could tell them, hey, we don't want this loan. It says you only received, so that means you probably took it. So if it means if you took it, I'm just going to have you email us, because there might be other funding that you can get out there to help you kind of make the gap, but it's not going to be PPP, unfortunately. It says, can SBDC bring in commercial real estate expertise on what small business? Look at that. Susan has a sense of humor. She said, thank you for the God reference. LOL. It's awesome. All right. Can SBDC bring in commercial real estate expertise on what businesses can do when they can no longer pay rents? At least due to COVID, will not. Yeah. Yeah,
yes,
Captain. That's a great suggestion. So we will make note of that.
in fact, we've actually got a webinar tomorrow at 10 a.m. on that very.
Can you put the link in the chat one more time,
and the
please?
link has just gone back into the chat. Yes.
Thank you. All right. If you receive $10,000 EIDL and later received a $79,000 PPP, do we need to return the $10,000 or repay it? How can we spend it so we can keep the full amount of the 89? Well, it depends, Lorena. If you're talking about a $10,000 advance, you get to keep it. If you're talking about a $10,000 EIDL and a $79,000 PPP, you get to keep both. You get to spend both, keep both. So I don't really know what you're asking unless it's the advance. Sorry I got on late. This is a cool name, Butterfly Frog 5. Sorry I got on late. I still haven't heard back about the EIDL advance or loan yet. They're still processing. My confirmation starts with a 36. So Butterfly Frog, you just need to know the date you applied. If you know the date you applied, it's probably about 2 months out from what we're hearing and we're seeing and we're talking to people. Is it, excuse me. Just try to get some water. So just figure out the day that you applied. If you have that date, which you should, it says submission date, that gave you your loan number. Once you find out that date, then it's about 2 months out for you to get notified. That's what we're hearing, but they're not telling us that. So in yesterday's cash flow webinar, do you teach how to record PPP and forgiven in accounting QuickBooks? I'm sure we can, but we don't currently, but you can just email us and we'll help you out. Back to the acquisition loan and EIDL. Could accepting the EIDL impact the approval of a loan acquisition or acquisition loan? It could. It depends on who's buying your business. Just go ahead and email us, please. This is a very specific question. It totally could. We don't know, really. We're not the buyer of your business, so I don't know. All right. Let's see here. Can I use EIDL to contribute to my SEP IRA? Yes, you can. Can you pay tax liability or to reduce your tax liability? Well, depends though. Like you totally can, Marta, but it depends if it was a previous pattern of you putting money into SEP, then yes, but if not, and it's brand new, then no.
Because those funds are really used for operating expenses. So that's what the EIDL loan is for, operating expenses. And if SIP is one of your operating expenses to keep your business alive, then you can but it's not necessarily to put all of that money into your retirement account.
Thanks. I had two companies. I did both businesses separately, and I was only an employee for both. I was the only employee for both companies as owner. I've gotten an offer for both PPP and EIDL for each company. Can I accept both without obligation to return one of them? Yes, you can accept both, and you can get both loans. Anybody can get both loans. You just can't use the EIDL for payroll and the PPP for payroll at the same time. You just can't use them for the same thing at the same time. So unfortunately, you can use EIDL for rent and interest debt payments, and you can use PPP for rent and interest debt payments, but you can't use them for the same thing at the same time. But yeah, you can use them. You can have both. How do you attend the Thursday attorney session? Is there a link to connect? There is. I don't know if Alan has it, but he'll probably figure it out soon before we end. You said garbage is not a utility for the PPP application. What about forgiveness? It's the same thing, Carrie. Is it forgivable or is it a utility? We don't know. Would it be forgivable? If it was a utility, yes, it would be forgivable, but we don't know. Is the EIDL loan non-forgivable by bankruptcy, like student loans? Is the EIDL loan non-forgivable by bankruptcy? So the EIDL loan is not forgivable in general. You have to pay it back. If you file bankruptcy, it will be a federal lien on your credit like a student loan, yes, but it's not forgivable. I applied for PPP with my something and a different lender and just received money from the second lender. How do I get the money back to my bank? Well, you can email us. We could talk to you about that, but like, it's just really simple, Joe. I would assume that you would take the money from one bank and just transfer it to another bank. They can't make you keep it there. So it'd be pretty simple. Are we qualified for the EIDL loan? I don't know.
Sorry,
What do you say?
I was answering this one too, to have Kathy reach out to us because we don't know.
Yeah. I just started a tech startup last month. If I haven't run payroll yet, is it possible to apply for PPP? You can apply, but you're not going to get approved because the date for, you started it last month, we're in June, so that means May or means April, but can you please point me to someone, the link? Yeah. So go ahead and can somebody I'll put this in the answer. So if you started last month, so the cutoff date for PPP, I think they said it was February 15th, but I think they changed it to February 29th. But either way, you are out of the market for that, Sunil. But maybe one of you can put, maybe Alan can put something in there, or Jerry can put something in there about how to get a hold of Tech Futures Group for tech company in the chat. One of my friend has a tech startup since 2018, same guy, but has not run payroll so far. Can that startup apply for any kind of disaster loan? So they can. I'll email you. They can do that, Sunil. Just email us and we can help you out. When paying back the loan, will the payments be reported to the credit bureau since a hard check dings our credit? Well, PPP, yes. EIDL, I don't know, because EIDL is different. But PPP, yes, it's a bank, so it's a bank loan, so yes, it will. Should we work with a bank or other institution to help us prepare before any new round of funds open up? We tried to apply but missed the window a few hours. I heard banks help thousands of businesses apply as soon as it ordered or opened up. I was just waiting to apply personally. Justin, I'll send you our info. You can reach out to us. I don't recommend going to a bank to help you with this. I recommend you coming to SBDC since we don't charge anything and we don't want to really get anything out of you like your deposits. So just come to us. We can help you prepare. It's better to come to us than a bank because banks are specific to what they offer, not to what the world offers. And we can help you with what the world offers. But it ends up that PPP loan cannot be used for 20% or more of owner's draw. Can you use an EIDL loan? Yes, you can. You can use EIDL loan for owner's draw, yes. We don't know if the 20% thing is actually valid. We've been hearing back and forth stuff on that, so we don't know. In your answer,
Sorry, you just can't use it at the same time. So if you're using your PPP funds to pay yourself, then you can't use your idle funds at the same time. Once your PPP funds have been exhausted, then yes, you can start using your idle funds to pay yourself.
All right. In your answer to Carrie, are you saying that the employer federal payroll taxes are forgiven? They're not. FICA, federal taxes are not forgiven. FICA is not forgiven. You can use it. You can pay it with PPP if you want, but it won't be forgiven. So there's a carve out that you're going to have to do, because it is my understanding they are not. True. Federal payroll taxes are not forgiven. Yes. The taxes deducted from gross pay are forgiven, as are the state employer taxes, but not employer taxes. Yes. So the state taxes, yes. Employer taxes, I don't know what employer taxes are. I'm not a tax specialist, but if you could just say state and federal taxes, but you can email us. Sorry if you answered a question like this earlier. I joined the late. We received our PPP funds on April 24th. We paid twice a month or on the 7th. Twice a month on the 7th. For hours worked, 16th, last day, 20 seconds. For hours worked, 1st. Do we start our calculation for the PPP loan forgiveness calculation with our May 7th payroll? So if you got paid on the 24th, you got the money on the 24th, that was a Friday, and you don't pay till the 7th? The answer is no. Your date starts on the 24th. You would have had to pay on the 2nd to make it okay to change the date. It's, if you don't pay bi-weekly, then you don't count. We have a full-time employee earning $1,000 a week. Oh, we already answered that one. We are 100% owned by our Chinese parent company, but from the IRS, the tax perspective, the Chinese parent company is a partnership whose more than 50% proportion of the shares is held by us as taxpayer shareholder. All right, go ahead and email us. That's a very specific case-by-case question. I have insight based on my experience for a question like non-citizen. I meant non-green card holder, but who had business. Application for PPP or EIDL, I'm happy to chat. Let me know. All right, just go ahead and email us, Masaki, and we will talk to you. When you say federal taxes, FICA, FIT, FIT are not forgiven, I don't know what FIT is. You mean the employer ER portion, correct? I read somewhere else that employer portion is included. All right, well, we're not tax specialists. If you want, I would jump on our call tomorrow with attorneys and you can ask them this question, but you can also email us, Christina. I'm not a tax specialist. I received an EIDL advance on 4/6. I received a notice my application was submitted and have a number starting with a 3. I've heard nothing until yesterday. In the interim, I applied, received a PPP loan on 5/21. Yesterday, I received an email from SBA informing me my application is ready for the next step. Can I still proceed with this application while drawing funds for my PPP? The answer is yes, you can. Yes, you can. You just can't, once you get the EIDL, you just can't use it for the same purpose. But yes, you can. You can start using it right away. For PPP payroll forgiveness, does a new hire who is not on payroll before hiring qualify? What? This is due to previous employee not coming back due to personal COVID safety concerns. So Victoria, you just have to, I don't truly understand your question. Does a new hire who is not on unemployment before hiring, or is not, maybe not on employment for hiring qualify? Yeah, they do qualify. So like if you had 5 FTE before February 15th and now you have 2 and you want to hire, like you try to hire somebody else back, they said no, and you hire a new hire, then yes, it could be. But if that's not your question, then you can go ahead and email us. We can help you out. All right, look at that. We've answered 131 and we have 3 left. It's exciting. Are you excited, Alan?
I'm excited, but you should know better than to tempt people like that way, Scott. They will start throwing extra questions in. You know that.
I know, but we do have 22 minutes from the original time. So, but yeah, we are doing good. I feel like we're getting two different answers on the idle advance and PPP. I got $3,000 advance and $20,000 PPP. I will use 100% on payroll with 100% forgiveness. How is the advance forgiven if it reduced my forgiveness? That sounds like a riddle. So Michelle, you're not getting two different answers. You take your 20 grand PPP and you minus your $3,000 advance. So now you have $17,000. That is total forgivable 100% for PPP. The difference between 20 and 17 is 3. That 3 grand will turn into a PPP loan and you have to pay it back. And you can get 100% on the 17 grand, but not the 20 because you accepted the idle advance. As regards to the 75-25 forgiveness split is based on total PPP loan or total PPP loan less the idle advance. You indicated that it is based on the PPP less the idle advance. Can you provide a source for this? Yeah, it's in the 11-page document. We didn't write it. This is, I mean, it could be law or it could be whatever the Treasury decided that day. I've not been able to find anything that confirms that interpretation of the forgiveness calculation and could really use one. Could somebody please put the link again for the 11-page doc and give it to, or just reply? Thanks. Just reply to me. Okay, sorry.
Her directly.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks
You're
for
welcome.
reading my mind. So in that example, the idle advance that is supposedly a free grant is now actually a PPP loan. Well, technically yes, Mark, but technically not. The idle advance does not turn into a loan. It just comes off the top, that amount, that number, whatever it is, 10 or 3 or 2 or 1 or whatever, 9, that number comes off the total forgivable amount of PPP. The idle advance does not become a loan. If you want to talk more about it, you can email us, but that's not how it's read. You still have to, now Mark says, I still have to pay it back. You don't pay the idle advance back, but you pay the PPP loan back, yes. And, you know, we can't answer all your questions. Like, we can't, you know, decide for you or decide for the lender or decide for the Treasury or SBA, but it is what it is because that's the way they wrote it. We didn't make it up. If you get $1,000 and approved, if you get $1,000 and approved for $6,000, is $1,000 deducted from the loan? Well, Chris, sounds like you just need to be a little bit more clear on this, but yeah, if you got a $6,000 PPP and a $1,000 idle advance, then yes, the $1,000 would be deducted. But any other question that you're asking, the answer is no. So I think you're confusing something. Thank you. Follow-up question. Do I prorate our hours worked from 424 to 430 and use this for the first payroll amount is to include the PPP loan forgiveness? I am confused as to how to get the amount. All right. You don't have enough. Gina Guevara, you don't have enough information in your question. Just please email us. I'll send you our information. Chris Simmons, not a PPP. Chris, just go ahead and email us, please, unless you want to ask the question all over again, because I'm not sure. Semantics, Mark Hancock, semantics, but it isn't a grant under this scenario. Not blaming you for the interpret, just getting clarity. Well, I know, Mark, but it's not a grant, okay? So they don't want you to call it a grant. I know it's forgivable, and those are usually grants, but it's not a grant. It's an advance. And what it does is the advance comes off the total PPP loan, and then that is the most that you can get forgivable with the PPP loan. For 7A and 504 loans, where can we find lender? Can you provide lenders? We're not going to provide you a lender list. Just email us and we will get you connected. We're not going to provide you a lender list because there is really no lender list. There's lenders that we work with daily, weekly, annually, ones that we worked for 10 years with. And they all offer 7A and 504 loans. Most SBA 7A lenders still offer, most SBA lenders still offer 7A and 504. It's not like they stopped. Just that some are doing a lot now and some are doing a little and some can't even think because they have PPP going on. So we're not just going to give you a list. We'll get you connected, but we want to work with you at no cost and help you find the lender because we could talk to them better and more intelligently than you can because we know what they want. For the PPP reduction on payroll, can you explain that the payroll reduction is based on total payroll paid or hourly rate? Gotten a couple of different answers on this one from my lender. Well, don't listen to your lender, because your lender is not the law for PPP forgiveness. So do not listen to your lender, Michelle. SBA and the Treasury are doing their thing, and the feds are trying to figure this out. I think it's on total paid. I don't think it's on hourly rates. So go ahead and email us. We can chat about it. Your lender does not know what they're talking about. I want to say thank you all. You have been very helpful with your guidance. Awesome. Thank you, Jay Brostrom. You're welcome. Hey, Alan, they got a little, this Christina Chu or Chu wants you to put the link in for the attorney thing. Did you find it?
I did. There isn't a link. So it's zoom.asksbdc.com/caseforce. That will take you to the place, but you can't, it's unlike our webinars where you can register for those and then get a reminder. This one, you just have to use that link at 4 o'clock on a Thursday, and that will take you straight to it. It'll ask you for password and use the password BaseForce. That's the best way we can do it, I'm afraid. It's not ours. If it was ours, it would be easier.
Yeah, it would be. Maybe it will be. Maybe we'll buy an attorney firm one of these days. Who knows? How much is left in PPP, or how long is it available? We don't know. So there's about 80 to 100 billion. How long is it available until it runs out? We don't know. Maybe like 3 weeks, maybe. I talked to somebody today. They said maybe 3 weeks. We don't know. All right. Chris Simmons is back. I'm sorry. I meant to ask.
Sorry, I got it.
She got it. Did you see his other one? Did you see his other one that has your name in it? Thanks.
I did, because we answered the question. I understand you, because she's saying that she's getting different answers in regards to her 25% raise. I say be careful, because we don't know for a sole prop or an employer owner how they're going to look at that. So for me, I always say, if you want it all forgivable, then just go by exactly what they're saying. If you give yourself a raise and it's not forgivable, and if you're okay with that, then, then that's okay too. But I'm a conservative person, so I would just say be conservative. But it is up to you. You are the business owner.
Look at that. Boom. We answered 153 questions, and we have 14 minutes left. And I know that people are going to plop in some more questions that they've been waiting to ask that they just didn't want to ask right away.
I know the advance, it seemed like a lot of people it's very confusing in regards to the advance and the PPP loan. That's just the way the law is currently written, is, that's the forgivable amount, is the maximum, is taking away the advance. So we apologize that it's confusing, but that's just how it is. No, you cannot use sales tax due with your PPP fund. Sales tax is not an employee expense. That is a business expense. And that if you do get the EIDL, you can use that for EIDL, but you cannot use it for PPP. That has been asked a couple of times.
But Sadina, wasn't earlier on there was a sales tax payment delay that the state of California put in?
Yes,
I remember that from the early days.
Yes, still has that in effect. You should go online. Unfortunately, I don't have all the information to that. So I would say definitely get online and review that. I believe there's an application, or there's a process that you need to follow in regards to that. We can have a class maybe later on in regards to it, but it's going to be pretty short for that. We probably won't include it in this just because it is different than the PPP and EIDL. Do owners count as FTE? Deborah, I would definitely say reach out to your advisor, because you do have a lot of valid questions and great questions. And I think that to get one-on-one service, to definitely reach out to your advisors to help you with that. And if you are shown as an FTE, as an employee, then I believe you can. But we need way more information than just a yes or no, or maybe to give you the exact information. Let's see
Put Chris
here.
Horton's email in the chat for the person who's asking for it.
Thank you. Are you not answering about owner-employee cap on forgivable wages because you are unclear? Your cap is 100,000 for anybody. Doesn't matter if you're an employee or an or owner. Your cap is 100,000. If you made more than 100,000 last year, that doesn't matter. Your cap is 100,000. So you go to your income statement and you look at line 31. If you're a Schedule C person, divide that by 52 times 8. That's your maximum. If it's more than 100,000, once calculated out, then you are limited to the 15,000. I forget what the calculation is, but it is in the slides. Appreciate the question, Carolyn. Let's see here.
Go ahead.
Are we cutting it off? Okay.
No, we got to keep going. These people, they call my bluff. They said, I was about ready to end it. They're all, you know what, we're going to throw some more questions in there. So when somebody says, I do want to get it 100% forgiven, so that's 75% for payroll, some for SEP, and some for utilities to add up to 25%. All right, so your SEP contributions is part of payroll. It's part of the 75%. Utilities, interest debt payment, like interest mortgage payment, is in the 25%. Is it possible to get 100% forgiven? Yes. Is it tricky as heck to figure out? Yes. You can email us. I know you're writing yourself a check today. I'm really happy you're doing that. That's awesome, but I don't know if it's going to be 100% forgiven yet. All right, Butterfly Frog came back. Look at that. I love that name. We should all, like, instead of putting your names in there, you guys should all put like your favorite animal or reptile or maybe superhero, actually. I applied for the EIDL loan on March 30th. My conference number started with a 3, confirmation number. Still have not heard back. Oh, March 30th. Okay, Butterfly Frog. Yeah, you should have heard back by like last week. About the EIDL advance. So you didn't hear back from the EIDL advance. However, I applied for the PPP in May and received funds for PPP. Yeah, PPP is easier to fund because it comes from lenders that you bank with. EIDL is hard to fund because it comes from the feds and it has to go through like cyberspace to get to you. If I'm approved the EIDL advance, can I subtract the amount forgivable of the PPP by using the EIDL, even though I got the PPP first? Yeah, regardless of when you get the PPP and when you get the advance, they are still going to subtract it from it. So Butterfly Frog, I'm going to send you my personal email, and maybe, just maybe, I can find out what's going on with your loan. What if the owner employee made $60,000 in 2019? I understand that $100,000 cap. So Carolyn, it doesn't matter what the number is. You just take 60,000 divided by 52 and times it by 8, and that's the total that you can get forgivable per owner / employee for that number, the 60,000 number. Okay, so PPP should be reduced by EIDL prior to calculating the 75%. So, Monique Kremer, your question, I don't have it. I might have it here. Let's see. I used to have it here.
How about, Monique, you email us and then we can get you that info. It's difficult to look through all of our information since we have so much of it to get that to you on this. So why don't you go ahead and email us at loans and we can try and get that info to you.
Look at that. She said, thank you. You're welcome, Monique.
And I've posted the link that Laurie put in from the American Institute of CPAs. I've had a quick look at that spreadsheet. It looks really interesting and probably more complicated than I could work with. But
so just an FYI, everyone, what we're putting on that Laurie gave us, and thank you so much, Laurie, we have not vetted. So just to let you know, go ahead and use it. If you love it, you can let us know about it, but we have not vetted this. So it is not something that we've vetted or reviewed yet. It's just some information that might be good for you.
And again, if the law changes, that may be wrong. So
Oh, yeah.
we have not spent any time on creating our own calculator, our own equation. We have not spent time trying to figure out how to do calculus and indivisible numbers and all this other stuff either. So we're just not going to yet because we don't know what the real law is. We're only 7 weeks into 8 weeks. I know we're like almost there, but and also one thing that should be on our disclaimer is that you have until a year after the 8 weeks to gather all your documents and try to get it forgivable. You have a year. So you don't have to do it right after. So you don't need to freak out that your 8 weeks is coming up like tomorrow or Monday, because you have a year to get all your paperwork together and get it forgiven. So
you do, but you do have to start paying on the 7th month.
You do, yes. You gotta start. Yeah, you're right. You gotta start paying it back. We have a year to make it forgivable.
Yeah, and there's a big like very similar to our disclaimer on that thing from the CPAs. It says, yeah, this is likely to change. It could change tomorrow. It's based on information from these dates. So yeah, it's as flexible as ours is, as in they don't know any more than we do.
Sorry, that is please email us or call us directly, Mr. Palmyra, and we will get that information to you. It is more extensive than you would think on the qualifications. Each lender has different qualifications as well. So they have overlays more than SBA. So it's really in depth. It's a whole nother webinar. So since we don't have any more questions, we are going to call it quits for the day. And we appreciate everyone attending and being here with us on these webinars. We appreciate your time, and please come back and visit us on Friday. And also our other webinars, you'll get great information. The lease one tomorrow, I believe, is going to be great information. So please be there.
Yep. Okay. All righty. I'm going to stop the recording. So there we go.